إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء تفرد بالأولية والقدم وبسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم كما قال عز شان كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت وقال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين من ركب سفينتهم نجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرقا وهوى أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنهم كانوا قبل ذلك محسنين كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون وفي أموالهم حق للسائل والمحروم صلوات على محمد وآل محمد Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I begin by advising myself and all of you to adopt the taqwa of Allah as is the best of provisions. The verses that I recited for you for today's khutbah are from chapter Dhariyat, which is chapter number 51 from the Holy Quran, ayat 16 ila 19. Of course, these are the days and the nights that we are going through, which are special as far as the fasting of this month of Ramadan is concerned. these special days and nights, in a sense that even those things which normally would be done involuntarily are regarded as tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your sleep is considered to be ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your breathing is considered to be glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So definitely these are not ordinary ayyam, these are not ordinary days, especially the nights are not ordinary by any means. Anything that is done, that is given, that is attained, that is acquired, that is presented has multitude of effects, whether for you or for others in your surrounding. I chose these ayat as it relates to that concept as well. In these ayat, Allah says they had been righteous people before the day of judgment. They slept very little during the night. As we are going through the month of Ramadan, I'm sure you get very little sleep. A lot of time people complain over that as well, that you have to get up early in the morning, let's say 4:30, 4:15, you have to get up in the morning to go ahead and eat something, and then it's very difficult, at least for some of us, to go back to sleep after you have eaten something and then you have prayed. You wait until the salat time, and then it's just very difficult for you to go back to sleep. And then of course, if you're working, then it doesn't make sense to go back to sleep. You just have a quick nap or something, but then you have the iftar that you don't want to miss out on, and then all the ibadat, and this is a routine that we get into. So therefore, when it says, وَكَانُوا قَلِيلًا مِنَ اللَّيْلِ يَهْجَعُونَ, they slept very little during the night and asked for forgiveness in the early morning hours. So when you wake up in the morning hours, when you go ahead and perform this suhoor and then wait till the time of Salatul Fajr, you get this opportunity to go ahead and make this dua, this special forgiveness that you ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And lastly, said they assigned a share of their property for the needy and the destitute. There are certain groups of people who are deprived, but they don't beg. So I'm sure you've come across people of all sorts and types. There are certain people who are definitely in need and they're deprived, but their status and their honor and integrity does not allow them to go ahead and ask and beg. And therefore we must take care of these individuals. These are the people for which Quran is saying, Surah Zariyat, ayat number 19 says what? وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. That they assigned a share of their property for the needy and a destitute. It's not something which is being recommended. No, this is something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already ordained and commanded, that in your wealth there's a share, there's a portion which belongs to someone other than you. So how is that possible? I worked hard for it. I did all the hard work. I was the one who was staying up all night. I was the one, doing 9 to 5. I was the one doing all of that. How is it that I have to go ahead and share and someone else has share in my wealth? Do you question this to the IRS? Do you put the same question in front of the tax companies? Do you put the same question in front of those who take, portion of your wealth away? You say, no, you can't question them, because the moment you question, this will be considered a crime and you will be deprived of the benefits that you receive. So then how are the benefits in this? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that in your wealth there's what? There's a portion that has been assigned for was-sa'ili wal-mahroom, those who are in need and those who are deprived. He said, with all the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon you, especially in this month of Ramadan, that favor that is given to you, in lieu of that favor, you have been given this opportunity to go ahead and share part of your wealth with other individuals. So therefore, there are people that who are deserving, but it does not allow their integrity and honor to go ahead and beg anyone. These are the people that we must take care of. Quran said, give them from their haqq. It's not like, oh, this is charity, so you should just go ahead and help out as much as you can. No, this is their haqq. When the word haqq is being used, it just changes the connotation altogether. That it is as if this is wajib and this haqq, this is their right. And if we don't take care of this right, that means what? We have failed and we have committed a sin for that matter. So meaning it's reserved right for them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, when you do help them, don't brag about it either. You shouldn't brag at all when you help anyone who's even in need and who's begging in front of you and asking, and you give them. You shouldn't beg. You shouldn't brag after that, but especially when those who are the recipient of this charity, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about in this ayat of Surah Zariyat, then you have no right to brag about it. Why? Because what you got rid of was not yours to begin with. Similarly, how you got rid of that money which is taken away from these law enforcement or the Social Security or from IRS, you don't go ahead and brag to IRS like, look how much tax I have given you this year, cut me some slack or anything of that sort. More than that, you should not have any right to go ahead and brag about it. Protect their integrity, their honor, and don't wait for them to ask, because a lot of time these people will not even raise their hands, and they won't even ask for anything, but they'll continue to suffer. So this is where your opportunity, your obligation is to go ahead and take care before this person spells it out that I am in need. How much more do you need to know as far as my need is concerned? So it is not necessary that a person must go door to door to ask. Rather, it should be the opportunity and it should be the obligation. You say, well, how do we know we live in a part of the world? That's where those riwayat which the Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Man asbaha wa lam yahtam bi muslimin masalan, the one who wakes up in the morning and has no worry and has no regards for the other Muslims' well-being, laysa bi muslimin, that person has exited the realm of Islam to that extent. So from here we understand that a person must be, it is not necessary that a person must be poor to be muttaqi. So well, usually those who are deprived, those who are poor, you see taqwa in them. No, that is not true. Quran says, innal muttaqeen, muttaqeen are those fi amwalihim haqqun lis-sa'ili wal mahrum. In their wealth, there's a right for those who are deprived and those who are in need. Meaning what? Muttaqi is someone who's well off. Muttaqi is someone who's affluent. Muttaqi is someone who's not in need, who's rich. In other words, you don't have to be poor to be pious. No, you could be the richest of all, and at the same time, you could be muttaqi as well. So zakat, khums, charity in Islam, these are different ways and methods of providing for the others, especially when it comes to the month of Ramadan. Zakat is just as important as salat. We look at the 28 places in Quran where it has come along with salat. Yuqimuna salat, yutuna zakat. Aqama salat, atawu zakat. And other conjugatives of this word. Zakat literally means to purify. It refers to the purification of believers' wealth. Everything has a method of purification. Otherwise, they'll rotten, they'll become unusable. Similarly, wealth is the same way. If it's not taken out, if it's not purified, then it's no longer halal for you to consume. You say, well, why not? I've never paid khums, I've never given zakat, these are obligations. We're not talking about the mustahabbat. You haven't done that, you won't be held accountable for that. But as far as the obligation of khums and zakat is concerned, if you haven't done so, using the wealth without having paid khums or zakat is what? Is not allowed. It's something which you are, if you buy something from it, you're in other words consuming, which is questionable, ishkal, has a problem, and that which you purchase with it has also, is similar to like you have stolen money from someone and then you go ahead and feed others with it, or you feed your family with it. If you haven't taken khums or zakat out of your wealth, this is the same value of this wealth as if it was stolen by someone. So it refers to the purification of believers' wealth as well as their soul. Wealth purification denotes the mobilization of assets, that these assets for the purpose of financial growth and of course, justified distribution amongst those people who are what? Hatred, jealousy, selfishness, uneasiness, and as well as greed. Other Quranic connotations also include the purification of sin, but sometime by giving from your wealth, not only that the wealth is becoming pure, you yourself is also becoming pure in the process as well. There's this qaida in, I don't want to be doing qiyas, there's this qaida in fiqh which is called inqilab, that one of the purification agents is inqilab or qalb or change. That when a hayat and the essence of something changes, it becomes pak, it becomes pure, and the container that it was in also becomes pure. So for example, if alcohol being sitting in this vessel, in this bottle, the alcohol, for example, of the wine, alcohol is not najis, wine is najis. If wine is sitting in this bottle The bottle is also najis, right? Because wine made it najis. But the moment wine converts into vinegar, right? The vinegar becomes pure, and as well as the bottle becomes pure. You say, well, no, bottle, how could that become pure? Tabi'iyat, following that which was in it as well. Similar cases over here, that when you give zakat or khums from your wealth, when you detach this, not only that your wealth is becoming pure, but the person who is giving this is also at the moment becoming purified. Salawat biji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So fasting and philanthropy. Sawm or fasting in the Islamic tradition requires, of course, refraining from certain things from dawn to dusk, from food, from drink, from intimacy. It is, however, far more than just mere refraining from these things. Rather, it teaches us bigger lessons and other aspects of our life. Spirituality and the social consciousness is taught by this fast. You say, well, I'm just refraining from food and drink and intimacy and all those things. No, it is teaching you a very bigger lesson than just keeping it to yourself. That you woke up in the morning, you ate a little bit, then you prayed the salat, and then you remain hungry and thirsty all day long, and then you broke your fast at the end of the day. No, while you're going through this process, it is teaching you great lessons as well. You may not realize it right away, but these are life lessons that later on in life, they'll come in handy and you'll understand. Fasting in Islam is a mode of enhancing self-discipline. Tell me what? You'll agree to it. Do you not become more disciplined in the month of Ramadan? So in a way, without making much effort, you are now disciplining yourself. Now how long, how much you continue this discipline after Ramadan, that is up to you. An opportunity for regulating attitude and conduct. How many times we have suppressed our anger while we're fasting? How many times we have overlooked many things which we would never let go while we were not fasting? How many times have you, restrained yourself from something which you, an ordinary day, would have done it all, right? You've done so. This is what fasting is limiting you. It's stopping you unconsciously. You don't even realize it sometimes, but it is doing that to you. And that is the beauty of this fast, that by just performing this one ibadat, all these other things are coming along in this package. And you don't even realize it. But when you go through the process, at the end, then these things become what? They become part of you. And then they come on their own. You don't even have to, worry about it. You don't have to pay attention to it. Automatically it comes. For example, a child who begins to learn how to recite the Quran, for example. He's looking at the words by words. I've taught many kids Quran, so I've gone through this process. A lot of times parents are getting worried. It's like, our child is just not picking up. He's not moving forward. He's not finishing the qaida. He's not finishing this. He's not combining the letters. He's not joining the. I said, no, everything will come on its own. It's a process that they go through. So they go through this process. It might be painful one in the beginning, might take a year, might take a year and a half, even 2 years. Some kids have happened. Some were sharper, smarter. They picked up quickly. But some pick up later. But once they get through that portion, now they don't have to think about joining the letters. It's all there. They just read through the ayat of Quran. Similarly, when you learn the laws of tajweed, initially when you're applying to your recitation, you say, well, this is where I have to do idgham, so I'm going to elongate the noon. This is where I have to do izhar, so I'm going to, pronounce this in this way. This is where I have to do qalqala. This is where I have to apply this other rule of tajweed. You're conscious of all of these rules of tajweed as you're reciting, but there comes a time after practice and practice and practice, what happens? You don't think about these rules. As you're reading, all these rules are automatically applied because they become what? Part of your subconscious. Similar is with fasting, that when you fast and when you go through this process, this self-discipline comes into you, this regulating attitude and the conduct and developing a better self that focuses on the larger purpose of existence and not just our 9 to 5 on daily basis. The month of Ramadan is thus an opportunity for spiritual rejuvenation, increased philanthropy as well. You somehow have this bigger heart. Now that you want to help others, now you want to be able to take care of those who are in need. Why? Because you can feel their pain by fasting. I'm fasting, because Allah has given me the opportunity to do so, but I only have to do it for 1 month. But those people who are less fortunate, they're fasting by force because they don't have anything to eat. or at least they're doing what is called faqa. They have very little to eat, for example. So while doing this, I understand their situation, and there's this concept of increased philanthropy, a means of attaining taqwa, which the Quran considers the pinnacle of human development. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So therefore, while fasting, we are far more aware of the hunger of the poor and the suffering of the oppressed, and therefore instructed to be more generous in this month. That's why there's so much emphasis on paying and taking care of and donations. And you see all of these organizations that come about, that I'm sure every single one of you have received a message or two from various different institutions or organizations who are raising funds to, for example, provide ration to people in this country or that country, only contribute this much amount. And this is increased effort that you see right away. Why do you think these people are now working all year? Well, they're working all year long. But the increased effort during the month of Ramadan is for this reason, that you and I are already inclined to do this. You and I our hearts have become soft during the month of Ramadan, that our hearts will open up more in the month of Ramadan as opposed to, for example, in the month of Shawwal or Dhiqat for that matter. So therefore, as a matter of fact, the feast of Eid al-Fitr is what? Marking the end of the fast of Ramadan, cannot be celebrated unless those affording ones who have dispersed Zakatul Fitra. So before you go ahead and celebrate Eid, what do you have to do? You have to go ahead and give this fitrah. You have to go ahead and take care of this obligation, which is zakat, upon you. So therefore, natural, Zakatul Fitr is what? Natural charity or sincere bountiness to the impoverished. This promotes, of course, attentiveness to the social responsibility that we all have. Sometimes we neglect this social responsibility because we get involved within our own family matters so much, and it's just correct. You should be more involved in your own family before you think about the entire world. There are people who are worried about the entire world, they neglect their own families. No, you should take care of the family first and then worry about the entire world afterwards. And as the leader of Inqilab, Khomeini, one of the principles that he presented before bringing this Inqilab, what did he say? He said he didn't start from the nation right away. He started from his own family. He started from his own street that he lived in. Bring about inqilab within your own family before you think about bringing about inqilab in the rest of the nation, because people then question you. So this is where this attentiveness to social responsibility, interest in the welfare of the society, and inspires a continued spirit of generosity. So it doesn't limit us just to the boundary of Ramadan. Beyond Ramadan, we also naturally become more and more generous. So there are some dimensions of this generosity. Whatever we can do to enhance the situation of others is considered charity. It's considered act of generosity. Prophet said, there is charity due on every part of the body every day. He went on to say, to bring justice between people is charity. So it's not just monetary. To bring justice between two people is charity. To help a person, with transport, or helping someone with their bag, for example, is charity. A kind word, qawlun ma'roof, is a charity. A step towards your prayer when you were driving here, all of that is considered to be charity as well. Removing harmful things from the way is charity. Giving water to the thirsty is charity. A person's true wealth lies in the good they accrue for the hereafter, not the goods that they accumulate in this world. That's why when a person dies, people say, what has he left? Angels say, what has he sent forth? So honestly, answering this question, I'll bring you towards the close, that what am I doing for others? अपने लिए तो सब जीते हैं, दूसरों के लिए कितना जीते हैं? हुसैनी वो हैं कि जो दूसरों के लिए जीते हैं. Because we belong to the Ahlul Bayt, the household, which sacrificed themselves, which did ithar. This altruism is in our veins. It should be, because if we are the true followers of Imam Hussein ibn Ali alayhi wassalatu wassalam. So charity enhances the giver rather than devaluing his worth. We talked about it the other night as well. You think you're devaluing your worth? No, it's enhancing your worth. You are increasing. The giver is increased. Prophet said, charity does not decrease wealth. Real generosity is not dependent on so much on your income, rather it's on the capacity of the heart. There are many who have the means to give, but they don't have the heart to give. But then there are many who the more they have, the more they give. Thus, when giving of material wealth, ensure that you do not give merely from the top of your wallet, but rather you give from the bottom of your heart. That's where really counts, right? The ayat of Quran says, Ayyukum ahsanu amala. Did not say Ayyukum aktharu amala. Akthare amal is not what is being $1, but that would be considered to be ahsane amal. And you could give $1 million, and it would not be considered to be ahsane amal. So this is where the difference lies. So life should not really be about how much wealth we accumulate, but rather how many people we have served. That is really where the purpose of life is, because the greater our giving, the greater our living. Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he said, surely Allah created humanity to be of benefit to creation. He did not create you for yourself only, to be able to benefit others. Remember, we are here to enrich the world. We become rich when we enrich others who are around us. But if we let everyone else to be poor and just ourselves become more and more rich, then no, this is not what is being asked. That's why Quran does not believe, or Islam does not believe in individual actions that, you can pray afterwards, brother. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. While the khutbah is going on, you should just listen. That when Islam does not believe in doing an action individually, rather doing an action cumulatively, in congregation. So that's why it says, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Don't go alone in this path. Rather take everyone along with you. So there's so many things as far as the ahmiyat of this zakat is concerned. I will leave you with this word of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam, that he says, Allah fi zakat, فَإِنَّهَا تُطْفِئُ غَضَبَ رَبِّكُمْ. Beware of zakat as it extinguishes the anger of your Lord. Your financial advisor tells you this is the time you should invest. And tells you the market is good right now. This is where you should go ahead and invest. You should go ahead and put all the money that you got, or more if you want. Right now, market is not good, so don't invest anything. Keep it as is. Just stay low right now. Play low right now. But the moment it is right time, they advise you. I'm advising you. Ramadan is the high time. Go ahead and invest right now. Invest in your future. Invest in your hereafter, inshallah. إن أحسن الحديث وأبلغ الموعظة كتاب الله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته غضبه وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وعفى عن السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد على معاصي العباد إلا كرما وجودا ولا كثرة الذنوب إلا عفوا وصفحا نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو لطوف على العباد بجوده ولفظ المذنبين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين لقد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه بالصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا للصفي إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها وعلى الحسن المجتبى وحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام اللهم صل على مولانا مولانا صاحب الزمان. ما هي آثار البدع والطغيان هادم أبنة الشرك والنفاق حاسد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آبائه الكرام اتصلت الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجه وسهل مخرجه واكحل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه، وتفضل على أمرائنا المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الإقبال وعلو الدرجات. اللهم افعل بنا ما أنت أهل ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهل، بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. اللهم اجعل من يذكر خطأ فذكرى. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائمة قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا ثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح جناب فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. All of us together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك الحجة الابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحارنا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم العذاب.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Being Ramadan, so there's no Jummah lunch, but let's recite a Surah Fatiha for all of our marhumin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. As you know, daily programs at Masjid-e-Ali are continuing. For the first 15 at least, the sequence of program is that at 6:45 we get together for group recitation of Quran. Following that, speech, and then we have Salat al-Maghrib on its prime time, followed by iftar, in-person iftar, which alhamdulillah after 2 years of hiatus we have began. And then we have Salatul Isha, and then we recite Dua Iftitah on nightly basis. As the nights are inshallah going to be getting longer, meaning the namaz time will be getting pushed further and further, we'll keep an eye on that, and maybe we might have to switch for certain programs like the Wiladat and the Majalis and the Shahadat that will be coming up. Those inshallah announcements will be made so that you can be aware of that. Primarily, the Majalis are usually done after Namaz-e-Maghriban and after Iftar, so be ready for that inshallah. There are a couple of announcements. One is Al-Mahdi workshop is also in full circle, and they have started their programs as well. Do take this opportunity, get your children registered for that. So every Friday from April 8th to April 29th for moms and toddlers, and every Saturday from April 9th till April 30th for children and youth. Both programs starting at 7 p.m. So right around the time when you have already come with your families, you can just register your kids and others to go ahead and take part in those programs. There's also virtual girls Quran recitation program that happens daily, Monday to Friday, from 5:30 to 6:30. Again, you can go to or you can email al-mahdi@masjideali.org. And in the last email that we have sent out, there was a link to register. It's a good opportunity. Those who are unable to read Quran here in congregation, for whatever reason, maybe they're shy of reading, or maybe they can't make it here on time. This is an opportunity, especially for the girls, to go ahead and do that. Other than that, there's another program which is coming up it's a girls only event, Friday, April 15th. Again, you'll need to RSVP for that program. The invitation was sent out in the previous weekly email. So all of these things, activities are happening. This is the month of Ramadan, of course. You're busy as well. Try to make sure that you can come with your families collectively to take benefit of not just praying in congregation and enjoying a very good iftar, but the couple of hours that you spend here on nightly basis in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala definitely is a spiritually uplifting thing. So do take advantage of that. I don't think there's any other announcement. Let's recite this dua 5 times together from Surah Namal for all of those people who are in need of du'as, those who are suffering, struggling, going through difficult time, physically, financially, spiritually, mentally. Keep in mind Brother Muhammad Abbas Rizvi and other families are suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them quick and fast recovery. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu al-muttarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. Proceed to Salatul Asr. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan hujjatullah. Hayya ala salati, hayya ala salah. hayya ala al-falah, hayya ala al-falah. حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العالى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العالى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربنا الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم أنت رب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار، في من تمن عليه وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآله.
متوجہ زیارت today will recite the زیارت of جناب خدیجہ سلام اللہ. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. السلام علیکم یا نبی اللہ، السلام علیکم یا امیر المومنین یا قسیم الجنت والنار، السلام علیکم یا ائمۃ الائمۃ الطاہرین، السلام علیکم ام المومنین، السلام علیکم ام المومنات، السلام علیکم خالصۃ المختلصات، السلام علیکم سیدۃ الحرم والملکۃ البطاح، السلام علیکم اول من صدقت رسول اللہ من النساء، السلام علیکم من وقت بالعبودیت حق الوفا واسلمت نفسها وانفقت مالها لسید الانبیاء، السلام علیکم یا قرینۃ الحبیب الی السماء المزوج بالخلاصۃ الاطفیاء، یا ابن السلام علیکم یا ابنۃ ابراہیم خلیل اللہ، السلام علیکم من سلم علیہ جبریل وبلغ علیہ السلام من اللہ جابلی، السلام علیکم حافظ دین اللہ، السلام علیکم یہ ناصرت رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم من صنفہ رسول اللہ و استودہ الی رحمت اللہ، اشہد انک حبیبۃ اللہ و خیرۃ اللہ و امنتہ وان اللہ جعلک فی مستقر و رحمتہ فی کثر من الیاقوت والاکیان فی اعلی منازل الجنان، صلی اللہ علیہ و رحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. السلام علیکم یا اہل بیت النبوہ جمیعا و رحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. السلام علیکم یا صاحب العصر والزمان، یا خلیفۃ الرحمن، یا امام الانس والجان، یا کعبۃ الایمان، یا تفسیر الفرقان، السلام علیکم یا امام زماننا عجل اللہ فرجک وسہل اللہ مرجک وظہورک ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. May Allah accept all your prayers and supplication in the holy month of Ramadan and give the strength and courage to do all this.